This is Dr. Anthony Chang of AI Med, presenting the fifth and last video on COVID-19 and artificial intelligence, how pandemics will be eradicated in the future. This is the final segment of a special video series that's 5 parts. You're welcome to look at the previous 4 parts, and that talks about the pandemics, current strategies, and lessons learned. So let's imagine the future of an AI-enabled strategy to deal with pandemics in general. I think a very important principle is that we have traditional models of containment, mitigation and strategy and suppression, as well as drug discovery and vaccine development. We really need to start thinking about how do we change data collection, predictive modeling, and drug discovery as the 3 areas I've talked about in previous videos, and really bend this curve to save many, many more lives than we are now. I think we all agree that hearing the news that we will settle for 100 to 200,000 lives lost in the US and as well as other countries is really disheartening, and we really, really need to place urgency into saving lives for the near future. So let's imagine a fictitious COVID-19 virus that surfaced in southern France 10 years from now. How can we do better than what we're doing today? Well, in terms of people that are isolated, we could easily have drone delivery of important medications or food and water. Right now, parts of different countries are totally without any kind of communication or delivery of vital resources. In terms of equipment, we've seen tragic pictures of doctors and nurses not having enough masks and protective gear, and people are working on, even presently, on 3D printing solutions to neutralize these deficiencies. It's so badly needed that we need to have a faster way of delivering and manufacturing important equipment. And lastly, care. Many nurses, respiratory therapists, and clinicians are very intimidated with going into taking care of these patients. I think some of those tasks can actually be done by intelligent robots that are already in existence. If you look at the scientific aspects, I think data ought to be collected by wearable technology in the form of Internet of Things and Internet of Everything. The data ought to be collected in a hypergraph database rather than traditional relational database. Secondly, the model to predict disease need to be, I think, coupled to the more modern data science tools like deep reinforcement learning and emulators, which actually can provide many, many simulations of disease as it happens real time. And then in the drug and vaccine discovery, I think we need to have a generative design algorithms to see how many different types of drugs we can come up with and design, and also use human swarm intelligence to help solve the enigmas of different viruses. So in essence, if we put this in one sentence, I think we need a proactive case identification and tracing strategy by mass screening, ideally even self-testing at home with a rapid result. And this has to be coupled with a much more sophisticated real-time data science-driven modeling to really help each city, each area, how to best prepare for a pandemic. And lastly, be ideal to have an innovative, fast AI-derived therapeutic program to design new drugs as well as vaccines that will be so necessary to overcome a pandemic. So I think public health and artificial intelligence coupled would be an amazing dyad to combat pandemics in the future. So I think going into battle with viruses without a sound public health strategy is like going into battle without armor. And in parallel, going into war with viruses without artificial intelligence is akin to going to war without weapons. So you need armor and weapons. Both are important. So in both situations, without armor or weapons, the human toll is unacceptable as it is now. So it's very, very important that we have a sense of urgency about bringing artificial intelligence much more into overcoming global health crises such as this, because most of the tools are actually already quite mature and ready to be deployed. In the words of Albert Camus, the famous French author that wrote The Plague, in the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. I'm hoping everyone stays safe during this winter, and we'll see you in the summer. This is Dr. Anthony Chang, bringing you a 5-part video series on COVID-19 and artificial intelligence, how pandemics will be eradicated in the future. Let's really realize this vision for the future and for our children as well. Thank you very much. Be safe, stay healthy.